If you haven't already, check out NuVet. They're a really good supplement for dogs and puppies. I have it on my website as well as linked in the description. If you use my code, it just gives me credit. We've been using them for a long time, well before I even started videos. We just really love them. I'll make a separate video on why we love NuVet and all of the benefits, but you can check out a few here. Hey y'all, so welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do a full groom. This is not going to be sped up. I'm going to show you every single piece of hair that's cut, every step that I go over. So if you need a shorter grooming video, I'll link some up top and in the description for you. I'm going to do a start to finish groom on Stormy. I'm not going to do the blow drying and showing you how I bathe her, just because that's even more added time on. You're just going to have to excuse any of the background noise that comes. We're going to try and get to it as quickly as possible. So of course, first thing that you want to do is you want to brush them out. You can see how long she is. She's kind of dirty because she got into who knows what, because they're dogs sometimes. So you just want to brush them out. I'm going to see if I can see where there's any types of like mats or tangles that I need to get out. She likes to play tag a lot here around her ears, so she tends to get mats here. And then in her rump area, you can kind of see where she has some nonsense going on. She has some stuff going on here and then along her ears. So here where I feel, I'm just going to get my dematting comb, because it's right here along her ears it tends to be. So I'm just going to stick my comb in and try not to bother her too much, because she doesn't like when she has mats, neither do I. And I'm just going to go in there. And the motion you want to do with this comb, I'll link it in the description, is you're just going and laying it against the skin, and then you're pulling back. You're not pulling straight out this way. So you just kind of stick it in so it cuts what it's cutting to get in there, and then you're pulling it back out until it's a lot more relaxed. I'm going to give her a break on that side because I know she has one on this side too. They're not huge, but I don't want them to get worse when they get wet, so I'm going to take out as much of it as I can. If your dog never gets mats, you are amazing at brushing. If your dogs do get mats, like mine occasionally, this tool is a lifesaver. So I'm just putting my comb in, again, flat against the skin. We would zoom in on this, but it's not really going to show you much because she has so much hair going on right now. Hold on. And as you just put it in, it starts to get easier. And you'll just see these little, like, you'll see it come off on the comb, and then there's like these little pieces of hair that just fall right out where the mat is. So she doesn't have huge mats, but it's something that we want to take out because then it can become really bad. And I just want to see if this one, and I'm just basically putting my comb in until it stops grabbing anything. Once it stops grabbing, then the hair is not really matted there, so you don't really have to keep doing it. And once I see them all coming to the surface, which I am seeing them now, then I will just take my regular brush and I will go in there. She wants to look at me so bad. And I'll just brush it out. And these little ones that are on the surface here will start to just fall out. And you'll see them on my brush now. They just come out pretty easily without much pulling. So that side's good. But I still want to get this side. This side's a little more. If your dog's not good on the grooming table, I recommend you always use your lead. Stormy's, I at least know she's a little finicky, but I know she won't jump off the table. So the sun's kind of turned her like a brownish color, which is kind of neat. I knew she wasn't black, but she looks pretty black sometimes. Oh, she actually has a mat in her ear. That's a first. So again, I'm just going to stick my comb in there and pull it out. She doesn't like that very much. I know. And come on, Storm. I know. Her nails are really long, as you can hear. So she's going to need that. So what I'll do is I'll just identify the mat. So we have a mat here on her ear. And I will get my comb if she'll stop fidgeting underneath. Okay. So since she's fidgeting on me, I'm gonna want to put the lead on her because that's gonna keep her more contained. So you slip your lead on and you put the tightener on it, and then you want it taut but not choking them out so they'll stay in one position. There's this ear. Again, if you can, I recommend wearing a mask because when you start taking off this hair, it does get irritating. So again, I'll just identify my mat, making sure her ear's out of the way, and I'm just going to stick my comb in there until I can get right underneath that mat. And we got underneath it now. And I'm just making sure that her ear is out of the way. I don't want these blades to cut her ear. So now that I got underneath it, I can hold her ear flat onto my hand, and then I'll just run my comb in like this gently. And you can see she's fidgeting a lot less now that she's on the lead. And now that I got under that mat, it's not pulling so much, it's just cutting through our problem area. So I'm just gonna continue to comb out. And you can see it coming to the edge, and then we'll see our mat pop right out. So this was a really big mat, so. But as you can see, we didn't have to shave her hair on her ear. And her ear hair looks almost normal. You wouldn't even realize we took out that much hair. So that's the beauty of that tool. And then as you comb, wherever it got loosened elsewhere, or sometimes you can see them kind of like on the edge. Like this one's just hanging on by a couple hairs. It's not quite loose, so I don't want to pull it off, but what I'll do is I'll separate the hairs and I'll slip my comb underneath in between so that it's a lot more loosened until it just pops right out without bothering her. So here, and then again you'll see where some of the hair that gets cut off comes off on the brush. So now that's good. Now both our ears are good. The edge. So this is hair that just kind of got taken off. What is going on with you? Stand up. Stormy's a little finicky, so you just have to bear with her. And then I just brush her ear out. I don't want her to choke herself. So again, you see they just kind of pop off with the brushing. So she's in desperate need of a groom, if that's not already obvious.
It's not.
It's not.
Not to me.
So she had, this one's like broken up, but it's still like, doesn't want to. Sometimes the little mats get held on to hair that's not actually connected to them. It just kind of hugs it. So they just pop right out if you separate the hair. You're not pulling them out, they're just...
It's an entanglement?
Yeah, they're just kind of tangled in hair. Tangled.
And then you can put a Will Smith and shade the picture in the corner there.
Why are you bracing down? Calm down, you're okay. Stormy's still like strange on... It's been a little while, so she like forgets almost. She's my amnesia dog. Still want to get in here because she has a little mat going on. So what I'll do is I'll choke this up, which sounds bad. I should have found a different word for that, but it's not choking her. Maybe it is because she's freaking out. So I'll give her a little more slack. But choking it up just means you're taking it as high as you possibly can, and then I'm just getting in here and combing this out. And I'll just wait till I see all these little, you can kind of see them just like flying out. Well, yeah, why are you pushing against my hand? Huh? Should I have brought Willow? Because Willow won't do all this to me. You look dirty, we gotta clean you. Okay, and then I'll just comb it out until all these little, again, you really want to do this before you get anything wet, because had I got these wet, they would have been a whole lot worse, and then a lot of times you just kind of stuck shaving at that point. So I'm just brushing them out here. And you can see them all just come out on my brush there. So, but she's all mat free there now, and I didn't have to shave, and it doesn't even look like we took all that hair out. So now she's good on both sides, and I'll just check. I'll brush her out a little bit more here, make sure I didn't miss anything on the top of her head. Feels good. Okay, so you just want to make sure you brush them out. Find any mats, take them out, brush out pretty good so that when you get them wet, there's not anything to make worse. So now I'm gonna bathe her, and then I'm just gonna blow dry her. There's no special way that I blow dry. I don't use a slicker brush. I just blow dry it until it's dry. I blow dry it against the coat, so all the hair kind of stands up and fluffs up. I don't use a brush to brush out while I'm drying. I just noticed that it causes a lot more frizz. It's not as soft. It's just a lot more damaging than I prefer. So I'm just gonna blow dry her, let the blow dry her about 95%. She's gonna have a little bit of dampness to her, like on her head and like little paw areas, but I just pretty much dry her as much as I can, and then I'll resume the video. So I'm gonna skip to that part. Okay, so she is dried now. She got a bath. We just blow dried her out. Again, I'm just blow drying out with I just blow dried like this to stand the hair up as much as it's gonna stand up naturally. I don't take a brush and do this motion. I don't find it necessary. I just dry her out. As long as I brush her beforehand, there's no problems. When you bathe them and you put the soap on, I do this motion, so I go with the hair. I'm not gonna do this motion ever. When I dry her, again, it's a squeeze, dry, squeeze, dry. You're never gonna do this motion. Just don't do it. It's just don't do it. And now I'm just gonna brush her out in some certain areas and see if there's any more like dematting that I need to do. I can see that right now that she's clean, that this little tail area, she got something stuck there. So at this point, again, I'll take my dematting comb and I'll just kind of try and take that out. She's a lot cleaner now, so this comb just, when there's no tangles, you can see the comb just kind of like runs through. She's really she has a lot of dense hair here, so sometimes it'll catch on her, but for the most part it just kind of runs through usually. Again, you don't want to run this through her whole coat because it does thin out the coat. So she has a little mat here that I'm seeing now that she's clean. But again, we did this before so that there's not gigantic mats you have to worry about, and if they're all over the place and really that bad, you're probably better off just shaving. I need to go down with that one. So she has one on her tail right here that I'm seeing. I just want to take out, and there, it pops right out. Where's my trash can? Her legs look good. The rest of her rump looks good. So I'm just going to take her tail and just kind of comb it out and see what we got here. And I just do this like a ponytail. Anybody who's ever had a ponytail, you just kind of brush out. So it looks pretty good. We did have to, it's short here, but we're going to shave up to the base of her tail, so that's not really going to matter now. And then I thought I felt one that she had here. So typically I want my comb to go down the way that the hair grows. It just makes it easier for dematting, but there's nothing there, I don't know. I guess because I went up against, I thought there was something there. So I'm just going to comb her out. I always say comb, but I mean brush, guys. I rarely use a comb. So I'm going to brush, and I want to brush everything kind of like standing up. The first thing I always do is I take the bulk out of the body. I just do it that way. I find it easiest. I'm going to use a 4. That's typically what I use when I do the body pretty short in the summer. If the 4 still looks a little too long, I might go down to the 3, but the 4 is a 1/2 inch, 13 millimeters. It says on your comb when you put it on. I have my clipper down at the lowest setting because you can go higher, you can go lower. I would say all these numbers, it just gets confusing. I promise you don't need to know these numbers. Just put it at the closest setting. And then I'm going to put my 4 guard on. It just slips right on top of your clipper. If you don't know how to use that, just practice it a few times. It's really easy. And then it has a little tab here where you take it off and put it back on. So you just slide your blades underneath there and then you just push it on. So again, I'm gonna use a 4. I'm just gonna start. She hasn't, okay, she's fine. Thought she was acting a little crazy today, but she's okay. So I just want her to be standing, and then I'm just gonna go in here, and you just keep the comb. This is their body, and you keep the comb across their body like this. And you're just running it across. The comb is gonna keep your cut even, and you're just gonna go with the way that the hair grows. And you're gonna do this a few times. That's what's gonna give you an even cut along their body, because we're gonna stand the hair back up and then go over it again with this. Anywhere that the hair grows, you can go ahead and go get him, and I'll call you when I need you. This video is gonna be a little bit different, guys, because I'm trying to get help with Mari so I can show you what it is exactly that I'm doing. But again, I'm just going across the body. Any way that the hair grows, I'll try and do this way so I can show you what I'm doing. So I'm just going the way that the hair grows, just like this. And then the legs, I'm just kind of going and scooping out, because I'll do these with the scissors mostly. So again, and then wherever her tail is, I'm going to hold that base and I'm going to go like this. And she has a little tangle there. So I'm going to try my brush first. If you catch anything, you want to stop. Don't try and take the clipper through that, because it's not going to go through it. You're just going to hurt somebody. So I'm just going to brush till that little tangle comes out. It's not too bad, but I see it right there. It's just on the edge. And if I can show you that. So, good little trick is to kind of clean up your hair as you go. I put my trash can on this end so I can just sweep it off. Most of it makes it in there. Makes it easier for cleanup. Again, I'm not going to fast forward this video. If you're looking for a shorter video, I have plenty of fast forwarded ones that you can go look at. This one I'm trying to show you exactly start to finish every single cut that I'm doing. A few people have asked me for this. So if you're looking for a faster one, I have plenty of other faster ones. But if this is what you're looking for, I hope this is helpful. Leave any questions in the comments. So I'm just going to go again. I use this. Some people use a comb. Whatever you can get to stand the hair back up. So I'm just going to stand it back up. I'm brushing it against the way that it grows so it can stand up. And then when I pass over it, it takes off all of this hair, because I don't want her to have a whole lot of long hair. So again, same thing. And then you'll see again how much hair it's taking off, right? We're going to do this a couple times, because you don't want to just do it once, because the way that the hair stands up. Once you brush it back up, you cut off different pieces. So I'll show you here how much hair again it's taking off. It's a little difficult to do from this angle, but I want to show you how it goes. And again, you're just, the way that the hair grows, if that doesn't make sense, just take a second to look at the way that the hair naturally wants to lie. And you're just going with that. So it naturally grows down towards the legs. Here it naturally goes down like this, and then down here, and this naturally goes back. So you just want to keep running your clipper against that, or with that, sorry. I'm going to do this side. I'm not going to flip her around every single time. I'm going to have Marius come in here and zoom in when I get to areas where I need his help, so I can show you exactly what it is that I'm doing. With this, I pretty much showed you on this side. I'm just going with this against. So this is going to take off some of the hair on her body here. Again, if you're doing this, turn them to your side like I am on this side. You want to do it in front of you. That's just the easiest way to do it, okay? You don't need to copy me exactly. I'm just trying to show you the best angles. So whatever's more comfortable, you want to do that, okay? Okay. So we're still getting some hair taking off. Again, it's just easier so it doesn't get trapped in their paws. Just take it and put it in your trash can. So again, stand up the hair one more time. We're gonna do this a couple times, you'll see. That's the best way to get like a nice even cut on them, and you'll see areas that you miss. And you just want to stand it all up, and you'll see how it's not completely even yet. So this here, I'm debating how much of this I want the clipper to take. So same thing again. I actually think I am gonna go in a 3 with her. So my 3 is a 3/8. I'm gonna actually go with that because I think I want to take off a little bit more hair on her. I don't know like what she has going on here that happened, but I'm just gonna run this through a few more times. Make sure there's nothing causing problems here. Got a little, I don't know if y'all saw that fly off. Okay, same thing, I'm gonna stand up all the hair. Like I said, we're gonna do this a few times, so that's just the way you get a real even, nice cut. I'm gonna turn her this way so it's a little bit easier to see and I can get an even cut on this side too. Plus I'm right-handed, so this is easier. So ideally, I want her to put her head down like this so I can go just straight along. And yeah, that's more length I want with her. Because she has so much hair. I want her pretty short. So it's easy to... And the legs I'm just going in and I'm just kind of scooping out. You don't want to shave all the way down the leg because the leg has a lot of different curves and stuff and it's just hard to get that. With the tail, I'm just going to tuck the tail down and I'm going to go over my hen just like this. And we'll clean that up later, but we just want to get a nice trim off of all that bulk that she has with her hair. Again, wear a mask if you have one. Especially nowadays, I think most people have masks. Wear one when you groom your dog. It helps a lot. I don't because I'm talking a lot and I'm just used to not wearing a mask. So. And then in the front here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to see where her little thing is and I'm just going to take it right down. Just like that. And take out any of this bulk here. So we're going to show you this side. I'm going to keep my collar up so it doesn't get caught. And she has, and you'll see right there she has a tangle and I don't know if that's how difficult that is to see on camera. But to take it in like that, it gets caught. So we want to stop there. We don't want to pull against her. Because that's not fun for anybody. And I'm going to take my dematting comb again. And I'm going to see what's causing the catch there. So she still has like a little, remember we combed her out here earlier. She had some mats going on in this area. So there's still like a like little bunch of them here that split up, but they don't want to come out just yet. So I'm going to get my dematting comb in here and try and get underneath this one so I can get it out. And they're not bad, they get in the way and they get caught on the clipper. So you want it to be smooth running through with your clipper. You always want it to be as brushed out as possible and not any of these mats or anything, because your clipper will catch on that and then if it pulls it up you'll have a shorter spot there, or mostly because it just pulls against them, and that's terrible. Imagine getting a haircut and pulling your hair the whole time. That would be not great. So you see a few of them, these little balls. That's what gets stuck on the clipper. Again, clean up your hair as you go. You don't really want to leave it there because it gets caught underneath paw pads and stuff. See, and then it's just more work later. So I'm gonna turn her again this way so you can see this side. Sorry, Storm. And that way I can see this dead on. I don't know what is going on here. Yeah, it's like a little, it's pretty close to the skin, so I'm trying not to bug her too much about it. And I might just need to kind of thin that area out, but see if I can get underneath it. Again, I'll say this a few times throughout the video. If you're looking for a faster video that doesn't show every single step like this and just kind of gives you the gist of it, I have a few other. There's a grooming album that you can go to. There's I'll link some in the description for you. There'll be some at the end of this video that you can look at. And they're just kind of, they're not really matted in there. They're just kind of like tangled inside of her hair. She has so much hair. Okay, so same thing. We're just gonna stand the hair up so we can pass over it again. Sometimes if your clipper makes a noise, I just take my brush, the dense part, and I'm just gonna brush it out. Sometimes hair will get trapped underneath there and it makes like a, kind of like a noise. I'm still making it, but sometimes hair gets trapped underneath your blades. But it's okay as long as it's not making like a grinding noise or something and it doesn't smell. So you still see all this hair that's kind of coming off as you pass over. You see all this hair that's falling off still. So you want to keep doing that until you're not getting any more hair off. So typically when I make these videos, I kind of fast forward through this because it's really repetitive, and a lot of people don't like to see the repetitiveness, and they just want to see one pass and they'll copy it themselves everywhere else. So then what I like to do is I like to brush it down this way to see if I can see anything that's kind of sticking out, looks out of place. It's starting to look really good. She has so much hair. And now what I'm gonna do, try to explain as I go. So for this part, I usually take off most of this hair here. So pretty much where her ears start, I take off what's below that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush that out. And I'm going to hold her ears because that's my point of reference. And I'm just going to take this hair out of here, so I know what I'm taking out evenly across. I'm not going to take it all the way through yet, but I'm just kind of getting here so I know. What in the world? So when I do a full length one, she has all kinds of stuff going on for her. So you see the length, the difference there. We're gonna take that out. That's weird. I don't even know what it was. Didn't even seem like a tangle too much, but. Oh, this hair. Alright, so now I'm going to follow it through. And then it's going to blend nicely into her body. Ideally, you don't want them to move this much, but again, it's Stormy. I'm used to her. And again, we'll go over that a few more times. Into body. I wanted to let her hair grow out so she can have like a nice sitting long side, so she has like a afro going on, and then it just kind of sits in the back there. I don't want to you know, mess with it too much because I'm trying to let that grow out so it can sit nicely on the sides of her head. So then I'm gonna look at, here. I'm gonna make sure I don't have anything here, so when I take a clipper in, there's nothing there. So I'm just gonna shave in here, just along her neckline, so I can take out all this hair that's here along her neck. So when she wears the collar and the leash, it is out of the way. So I'll try and do it on this side. She's moving a lot. There we go. Okay. So you can take all that out. I don't want any of this to stay here. So I'm just lifting the ear up, lifting the head hair, and I'm just taking down through here. Alright. And you can already tell she looks a lot wider, she looks a lot cleaner. She's a lot softer, that's for sure. And then I have a pretty clean neck that I'll do more with. This hair is getting everywhere. I forgot to put my smock on, I just realized that. So I'm trying to let this grow out here. Sometimes in their pits, they'll have problem spots there. Some do, some don't. If you notice that they do, I just kind of go in there and feel if they do. She kind of has, I don't know if she has a spot there or not. Yeah, she kind of does. So you just kind of lift up the leg. She's not gonna let me do it like this. Normally I do it like this, and I just kind of come in here and I'm just like brushing the hair out. It's kind of weird because you do it blind, but you know, just feel it catch on the. It is matted there after all. So when it's not matted there, you have just the hair there that you can just kind of shave out. You just scoop it out and it'll come right out. I can't do it blind like that, and it's going to be really hard to record, so I'm just going to explain it as best as I can. So I just lift their leg up so I can look underneath, and I just kind of scoop out here like this. And then I take that hair out that's in the armpit. This thing's freaking out on her hair. So the same thing on this side then. It's just easier to lift up their arm like this, and you just kind of scoop out so you can see what's going on there. You want to be careful because there's like a, sometimes if you lift their arm up too long, you get like a tendon there that you can see. You only want to lift it so far so it's flat, and then the clipper just glides right there, because if you leave that tendon there, then it's going to get kind of wonky. It doesn't have to be perfect there because nobody's going to see it, but you just take out that hair there so it doesn't turn into a huge mat. So then for our paws, which Morris is going to kindly zoom in on for us. This here so it doesn't fall. I'm going to come around. Oh, okay, he's coming to me actually. Yeah, that makes more sense. So I'm going to do this paw first. So again, you take all your hair and you're going to scoop your hand here, and you're just going to hold your paw like this. And then you're just taking off all of this hair here to expose the pad. So you just follow along your pad, and take off all the hair. So I'm just keeping it right along my hand, and I'm just scooping it. Because you'll shape them later when everything's all said and done, but you just want to make sure your pads are really exposed. And then you just go here. And then you can go lower and kind of take off the majority of this hair. So you have a nice little exposed pad. Again, on this side, you just grip the foot, pull it down, pull the foot out. And I just take off all this hair straight to my thumb. I just touch my thumb. It's not going to cut you. If it's cutting you, then you probably need new clippers. And you're just following along the pads. You want to expose all 5 of the little pads. She's folding a little bit, but she's okay. So my other pads here, I want to expose that. Again, you just run it along yourself. You're not going to cut yourself because it... I know, Storm. And I like to take off this hair here, right underneath the nails. And then you'll shape them later. So same thing on this side. Pull the foot down, It's kind of hard to record, I don't know how. Pull the foot down and expose like this. This one has a lot of hair, you can see. I'm just taking it out. I like to use my big clipper for this because it can get really close. Again, I'd say the numbers, but it's just not necessary. This is the tightest cut I can get on this one. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect because I'm just exposing the pads, and I will shape them up after, once I get the legs done. Same thing, and then he can go on the other side. To do this one, I always go through their body. I don't know if you can back up. So for this, I always hold them here, and I'm right-handed, so if you're left-handed, it'd be opposite. And again, and see, if you don't take all the hair, it gets trapped here. That's why you always want to move the hair so it doesn't get trapped in their paws. The same thing, you're just taking off all this hair. Just cup their paw, take it off. Doesn't have to be perfect. You're just taking it all off so it's out of the way. Because once you shape the paws, anything that's on the outside, you'll be able to get. You're not going in between the pads, it's not necessary. You don't need to get scissors in there or anything. Just shave off so you can expose the pad just like this. This is absolutely all you need to do for them. And that's it. And then we have nice clean little paws. And I have hair all over my face. And then I just kind of do this too to get rid of a lot of the hair that we're having. And then for the face, all I do is I brush the hair back. I'm going to use this side because I don't want to poke her eye. So here. And then I'm putting my hand underneath the jawbone. So my hand sits like this on them. I'm not choking them out, I'm not gripping them like this. It just sits underneath so I can control their head, and I put some upward motion on their jaw so I can hold them steady. And then I take my, what is this called? Sorry guys. These are the parts I cut out usually. So then I'm just going to grip her head up. I'm going to push all this back, and I'm just coming right next to her eye. She's going to close her eye when it gets close, and I'm just scooping this out because I find it easiest for us. And I'm just scooping the hair out that's right in the corner of the eye. So she has a nice clean little eye compared to the other one. And then on this side, because I'm right-handed, I do it opposite like this, and I do this corner. Let me know when you're ready. Good. And again, same thing. I'm just scooping out this hair that's tinted here, and that's causing buildup. And then you can take it off with your hand. What is that? See, she gets stuff stuck in there. Sorry, girlie. Okay, what missed though?
Just right after you pull out that hair, and you said, okay, so see on this side.
Okay, so see on this side I shaved off a little more because I like to shave this part off here. So I'm just looking at her and seeing that. She kind of looks like a lion right now, it's funny. So then I'm just shaving this off so it looks even. I don't want her to look, you know, like lopsided. And that looks better just like that. But I want to take off this tinted hair here in the corner too, but I'll look at that later because I don't like to hold her head too long like that. So then she has a nice clean eye, but then I still want to go up. So right in between their eyes, I'm going to hold their head, and then I'm just going to go up a little bit so I can remove some of the hair that sits right in their eyes, just like that. And then this part we'll trim later. So she has a nice clean face, and it makes it a lot easier when you wipe these boogies away. And I can still see how it's not even there. Because see, I'm right-handed, so when I go on the right-hand side like this, it's easy to stay nice and close. And on this side, I kind of want to come out, so I have to sit it there and drag it across so I can get a nice even cut on both sides. And then it'll sit down like this, and we'll clean up her face later. She's laying down. She's funny. Okay. And then next is I'm going to switch on this side. So for our sanitary cut, I stand them up, I hold their paws, and this hair right here I just like to take off because it usually just gets peed on. It just causes problems. So I just kind of shave this belly hair off right here. And then right here, I'm scooping out. I'm just scooping this hair out. I don't, have to make it perfect or anything. And then here is where her sanitary cut comes in. So I'm just cutting across here. I might have to go on the other side for that because I don't know what that is and I don't want to touch it because it's kind of gross. And I'm just shaving all of this out here. So when she goes to squat to pee, it's not in the way, it doesn't get peed on, and then it just makes life easier. So you're just scooping that out. Again, you just go like this. It's on your shortest setting, and you just kind of clean that up a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to shape the legs after, so we're just taking off whatever hair is there in the way. So you can just look when your dog is about to get a bath, what areas are kind of stained, and that'll kind of tell you what areas you need to take off. And then on the rump here, I hold them right at the base of the tail. You don't want to hold them at the top, but right at the base of the tail, and my thumb goes up to hold it. And then right where she is, you're going right next to it. You're not going to pass over it, but go right. They're going to flinch a little bit because you're right next to something private of theirs. And you don't need to get it like completely cleaned off. And here I'm going right next to it. See, she flinches even when I'm touching. It's just a sensitive area. So you're just shaving off the hair so it's not there and it doesn't trap hair. But you don't want to go right over the anus because that's just don't do that. And then here, I scoop this out too so it's not, it doesn't get pooped on either or trapping hair. And then again, when she's peeing, this is where her vulva is, so when she's peeing, I don't want it to. She's like, don't cut me. And then she's just clean there. So when she poops, it falls straight down, nothing there to trap it. And then we're gonna shape around that later, so. I think that's all the close-ups for now, so you can mount it back. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna trim nails. If you haven't seen my nail trimming video, I'm not gonna go close-ups on nails because I have a whole video on that, specifically what it is that I'm doing. But at this point I do nails, so they're taken care of. And hers are somewhat long, but they're not terrible. She mostly bears down, so you hear them a lot. And I'm just making sure they're no longer touching once I clip them. And these aren't. Because later when we shape, we don't want them to be there in the way. Hi, sweetie. I sweep after, but if you want to make that land in the trash can, by all means. Excuse me. These are pretty short. So I'm just judging based on her paw being on the ground. If you haven't seen my nail cutting video, I can link it up here. I'm going to use our grinder. I usually skip this part or do it with the trimmer, but I'm just putting the grinder there. Nope. And I'm just rounding it off because these can get pretty like sharp feeling. And, ow, I just got my own nail. Didn't hurt, but I don't know why I have a habit of saying ow when something happens that's unexpected. So I'm just going against the nail. So the nail sits like this, and I'm just going up and rounding it off at the top. So it's not like jagged where it got cut off, and it can scratch you if you don't cut that off or grind it off. So with her, I grind it. Some of them, they tolerate me just cutting it off nice and round. So just depends on your dog. If your dog will tolerate the grinder, it definitely makes a smoother feel. I'm gonna keep their hair away from this. Hair is all in my nose. Again, I know I've said it a few times, but if you haven't, I have a whole nail cutting video. I'm not going to zoom in and show how to cut nails right now because It's not the purpose of this video, but I do have one that goes really into depth of the method that I use and a good method you can use. It gives a few different options too, in case one doesn't work or whatnot. Just gonna grab this one. You hear the new baby babbling in the background. This nail's actually a little long. We can trim this one off. This one's white, so I can see that it is a little bit longer than it needs to be. But I'm just judging based on how close or far they sit to the ground. Okay, so we cut that off. Now we're going to do the legs. So what I usually do is I stand her here. I stand her against me, just like this. Actually, Marius, are you there? I'm trying to coordinate with the baby and making sure Marius can help me. So I'm going to go on this side so he can kind of zoom in with that. And I can show you on the back what it is that I'm doing.
So zooming in?
Yeah, just kind of keep an eye on this. I'm going to try and stay out of the angle. So what I do is I grab the leg and I'm just going to brush it out to the side here. And then I'm going to put my hand where her leg is so I can get a gauge and I know exactly where I'm going to trim. This is just kind of taking off, I'm just taking off the bulk of the hair so it can blend into the leg. So that's all I'm doing. So I can give her, I don't want her to have skinny legs, but I don't need all this hair to be there still too. And then do the same thing on this side, so I'll pull it back out. Sometimes her tail doesn't stay out of the way, so you can just push it like that to the side, comb out to the side, and then same thing. I'm going to feel where her little leg is, and then I'm going to find a line and follow along that. If your scissors don't cut, it's usually like your angle. So if you have like a weird angle like this, sometimes your scissors aren't going to cut. So you want to make sure that you're straight on so your scissors will cut the hair straight down and like guillotine it. Because if you have like a twist like this, sometimes it'll just wrap up in the hair. So that looks pretty good and we can compare the two legs. And then right here, same thing. I think I can turn her to the side. I'm just going to comb this out, and what I'm going to do is just go, this is weird because I never do it that way, but I'm going to comb it this way. And I can see her little leg curve, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go along that. And it sticks out just a little bit, so I don't have to worry about cutting her. This hair is all in my nose. And I gotta look in here a little bit. And I'm just going with the curve of her bottom. And that same thing, you just comb it out a few times. Same way that we're doing the body. And we're just giving her a little round here. And then I'll go into this leg. Oh, my nose. So same thing on this side. I'm probably in the way here, but I can't.
Not very much of it.
I'm gonna do it this way, 'cause. So again, I'm just kind of coming in and rounding it out here. Again, do this on your side so you can see what you're doing. I'm trying to give you guys a pretty decent angle, and then just brush it out. You can kind of see where like pieces are dragging out here. Dragging, is that a word? Dragging out. And I'm just cutting and rounding it to her body. So she's nice and round in shape here. And once I take the bulk from the sides, then I'm going to brush it out this way. And I have my hand behind here because I can feel where her little leg is, because I don't want to cut that. And I want to just give her a nice rounded leg. Just look at me. Hey! Okay, thank you. Look straight, please. She started looking at me, so I went off a little. And I'm just going down into the leg here, because this bulk here, I'll show you what we're going to do with that later. And then the same thing, you're going to come this way, out like this. Actually, I think I can stand on this side. Getting all confused today. No, I can't. Normally she's faced towards me, and I can get a... So this here, I can feel where her leg is. So here, I'm going to... My baby's crying in the background. I'm just going with the shape of her foot, so you can see that it gives now the shape of her leg. But I'm leaving some hair there, so you see that there is hair there. And we just, I know, sorry, Stormy, I'm hitting this thing. We're just gonna need to go get the baby, and I'm gonna do regular mode. Okay, you can go get him. I'll finish up. We showed one leg pretty well, yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay, so then I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. So I'm gonna brush her out. I didn't remove the bulk on this one yet, so I'm gonna do the same thing, remove the bulk. We're just gonna set the camera and go get the baby so he's not crying on us. I'm just removing the bulk here. Same thing, brush it out this way. And hold it. I fed him right after I blow dried her, so he is good to go. He just wants to be held a little bit. Who doesn't like a little cuddle? Okay, and I feel where her leg is, and I'm just going along the way that her hair, the way that her leg is shaped, sorry. I'm getting my words all jumbled up. I still have mommy brain, y'all, so my brain does not always do what it's supposed to. And the same thing here, I'm just shaping with her leg. You can hear that hair face, it's gross. I just snorted boogers on this, and now I feel like I can't edit it so you guys can hear me snort boogers. Okay, and then same thing for the front of the legs. I'm just feeling this little area again. Thought I got it, but I feel one little tiny mat in her like armpit area, and I don't want it to turn into a big mat. So I'm trying to get it out. Sorry, Storm. It's kind of hugging in there with the hair, so we got it. We got it, we got it, we got it. Okay, so she's starting to come together now. And so I'm going to do the front of her legs. I think I can do it this way and kind of show you guys. Let's see. So I'm going to do this outside leg again, and then I'll turn her around and do it on my end. So again, same thing. I'm just going to brush the hair out. And I'm just removing the bulk here. And this is the method that I use. I find it works the best for me. And I'm just going to take off some of this bulk here. And kind of blend it in to the legs. She has a lot of hair, so I just want to take all that off. Same thing on this side. Just gonna brush it out. And I'm feeling where her leg is, so I know I'm not trimming that. I don't want to cut her. So just like that. And then same thing, I'll come here. And I'll comb her out here. We're still gonna come in and trim all this. I'll show you in a second. But we're gonna go along her leg. I start here, right at the elbow, comb it out. And I'm just finding that first. And I'm going to cut down along the leg. And be careful because they have a little paw pad back there. If you're distracted by Ozias, you'll just have to rewatch this. So I kind of take that out. It looks a little jagged here, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do there. Do not to worry. So I want her to be standing tall. And on this side, I'm just going to, I think I'm going to like this, guys. So sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to do this backwards. Put your leg down. And I just go along her leg, just like this. You're hot, Stormy. And then right here, because you can see her chest isn't quite blended in, so I'm just going to scissor that in into her body, just like that. You'll see that she has this little section here. And I just trim that off. So I think I missed a section here, but it didn't come out all the way. There it is, yeah. So I'm pulling it out, and I'm just going to even it out. There's just in this section here that... Okay. And then you can see the difference here. So she has one straightened leg and then one that needs to be cleaned up. And then we're still going to come here. I'll show you what I do there. So I'm going to turn her this way so I can do the other one, because it's just easier if you're looking straight on to do it. I want the whole video to be me struggling. I can feel the hair in my throat. Got my nail earlier. Okay, same thing. Comb it out, feel for her leg, and I'm just going along the shape of her leg, straight across. And that's the thing. I want to blend this into her. So just kind of combing it up and blending it down. Same thing this way. Just remember they have a little pad in the back here too. So you want to accidentally cut that. I'm just going to make sure that I'm blended here. Okay. And then we have two pretty cute balls. Miss a little piece here again. So just going in, and where I see something sticking out, I'm just going to clean that up. Again, don't worry, I'll show you what we're doing here on this side. You laughing at those eyes?
Just trying to get him to smile.
Okay. And then I just look at her legs and make sure I've got everything and I'm not missing little pieces here. Okay, I'm gonna turn her this way. When I showed that side, I don't think I was feeling too well. Okay, just go straight. So I'm just taking off all the bulk, but I don't want her to have like green bean or string, what is it called? String bean legs. So same thing, I'm just making her leg come out so I can see what I'm cutting. There we go. That looks better. Okay. So now the method I used to blend all that in, I brush her out again. Remember I said we were going to do this a few times. So I'm going to brush her forward just like this. And I'm going to brush her legs up too, because this is where it looks a little bit jagged. You can go in with the scissors and do it too, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, I'm lazy and I found that this method works too. So, you know, the easier method works, why not? And I'm going to go, I did the 3, so I'm going to do the 3 again here. Making sure I'm on my tightest setting here, because that'll change the length. Don't forget that. And, okay. Put something in her ear. So now that that's there, again, I'm going to go along her body again, right? So I'll show you, see it's still taking off little bits of hair. So the more times you do this, the more even, smooth look you're going to get. Oops, you want to make sure your comb is flat against them so you don't poke them like I just did, Stormy. And then the legs, now I run this down the legs because now it's going to give like a more even cut because I already took out the bulk that I didn't want in there. And I'm going to go against here like this. I'm showing that side, don't worry. We're just going to kind of blend all this in a little better so you don't have to do it with scissors. Because it takes a little bit of practice to do it with scissors. When I feel like it and I have time, I do it with scissors, but this video is long enough without having to take the time to do scissor work. And then I'm just going in, you might be able to see that in the reflection now when I'm thinking about it. I'm just going in just like this. And then you can do it with your hand, you can do it with the brush. And just go over it a few more times. We're going to go in and give this a nice clean line in a second, but right now we just want to make sure we get all this off. So now she looks more even. Do her belly too. She has a lot of hair here. I don't know why she stands like that, guys, but she's funny. And then here I'm just gonna go and same thing, I'm just gonna run down. So she's not having all this hair here. And her belly, that's randomly long. And I'll let go of one so I can do the chest here. They're down easy. She's not standing on her own, it's not going to be comfortable. So then I'll show you. Was she just like this?
No, she was the other way.
Okay. I'm losing it, guys, I'm losing it. So again, just stand it up. Okay, ma'am. And you'll see just the little bits of hair that are coming off still. It's not a whole lot, it's not across the body, but that's what gives you that nice even look. As you'll see, it's starting to come together. Looks like she has lines because the combs run through, but I'll show you in a second when she's something. I'm gonna go across like this. I'm gonna take out this bolt that's along the boot tee. This just kind of takes out all those scissor lines that we had in there. And along this body here too. Just like that. Again, I'm not going to do much on her head because I'm trying to let it grow out so she'll have more like a longer head. That's the type of cut I like them to have on their head typically. And that's the quick way to just blend in these lines here. So, take all these. So I'm going to use this. I'll show you guys how nicely it sits. I'm just using the soft side so I can kind of take off all this hair. It seems to get the hair a lot easier. So now along this body line, I'm going to take my scissors and put this hair down now. Turn her away. And I'm just going to give a nice, like, even body. I don't want it to be like a nice harsh line, but I want to, some hair still coming here. But I want to clean it up so there's not anything like sticking out. Ugh, it hurts in my gut. Ew. Sorry guys. I should have worn a mask for this because normally I cut out the bits where I'm choking. It's funny, who knows. Okay, and then same thing on that side. So she has a little bit nicer profile here now. So I'm gonna cut this. And any little hairs that kind of stick out, that's just kind of what I'm trimming off now at this point. Okay, so now her body looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna brush her out now with the other side so I can see if there's any like hairs kind of sticking out. Okay, and then I will do her paws. So paws I do with a rounded scissors. So she has this hair here. I don't know if you guys can see that. I just don't want it to stick out. So now paws, I'll do the back ones first, kind of at an angle. So you can kind of see that. You just brush them out. Brush them out flat around. And then your scissors gonna go like this. You're not gonna go up and down with your scissor, but you're gonna go in towards the paw pads. And you're just gonna round out around the pads. I'll do the front on the other side. So you can kind of get it around. So nice round pad. Open your scissors nice and wide so you can get all the hair that's on the top too. And then you get a nice even cut. So same thing, comb this one out. She has some hair stuck underneath, sorry. And your scissors at an angle. Do a nice wide mouth on your scissors so you can get all the hair. Yeah, thanks. So your scissor gets all these hairs. And then comb them out a couple times. And I usually cut this part out because it's not really necessary to show someone the same thing in a short video. So this one's a long video, so I can show that for those of you that need to see it done, because I'm a visual learner like that as myself. Okay, so then she has more nice round paws. Okay, so her paw has really long hair here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to comb this out a little bit so I can see where the bulk of the paw is, and then just kind of trim that even with the top of her leg. So she has a less bushy paw, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So really, same thing here, I'm going to comb this out like that, and I'm just going to kind of take that bulk out here so she doesn't have such a bulky paw. Okay, so on the front, hair. Storm and Curly. So same thing, I'm gonna brush out the paw. And your scissor goes at an angle, and just nice wide mouth for your scissor. Just trim it out and curve it. It's easier with curved scissors. If you don't have curved scissors, you can use straight scissors, just do smaller cuts. So you get a nice round look. Can't do that. I'm trying to stay out of the camera angle, but I think you guys can kind of get the idea of that one. Come here, sweetie. I know. Almost done. Same thing. Nice wide mouth, and it'll give you a nice paw that sits really curved, really cute like. Crossed arm. And then same thing, she has a lot of bulk on the top of her pad. I should have cut that earlier before it got blended in, but I'm just going to comb this out like this. Her paw's bent, and that's okay because I'm just wanting to take off this bulk that's here so that it sits a little cleaner. Wow! Don't hit your scissors, guys. It stabbed me in the leg. And just kind of blend it in a little bit. There's a lot of bulk here that I don't want. I'm just going to go along the paw and kind of pick it out. Bryce has hair on himself too. That looks a little better. Take one of my back ones. Should have done that earlier. I forgot to take out a lot of the bulk on her paws, but that's okay. So sometimes it'll mess up you want to do the rounding after, because then it'll mess up the shape of your paws. So I'm just making them nice, and I try and round them out as much as I can, but they usually end up more like an oval shape, which I don't mind either. But if I can get a nice wider round paw, I try to do that, but once one goes oval, that's it. They're going oval. This one has a lot of hair in it, so in the summertime we don't like to keep all that hair, so. I'm just trying to clean up all these hairs. Looks pretty good. We're off. The tail you never really cut. If you are going to cut something, you just lift the tail up like this. If it's hanging down below the butt, since their tail sits like this, I'd deal with it. If not, I wouldn't touch it. She kind of had those tangles in there as we took out, and then I kind of twist the tail here. So I just twist it, twist it, twist it, twist it, twist it, and then these little end bits, you don't want to do this very often, but these little end bits I just kind of cut at an angle like this, so I can clean up those little ends there for her. So then her body's pretty much done there. If I see something else, I'll come back to it, but now I'm just going to do her head. I'm letting it grow out. I want this top hair here to sit down here. So it's almost there, so I'm gonna leave that alone. If you want more a tighter puppy cut, I have a different video for that. I don't want to do that on Stormy today. So yeah, I'll link that video up here at the top. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna comb her hair down to the side. I'm going to use an actual comb for this because it's easier. And I'm just gonna comb this down. Geez, what is that? And I use my wider setting because what in the world? See, I have she has a little knot in here or something. There it is. Okay. So I try not to pull them too much. So I'm gonna flip her ear up like this. What is going on here, Storm? What is that? I'm gonna try and comb that out. That's why I don't like to use a comb, because it pulls more than the brush seems to. So on the side of her head here, I'm just gonna comb all this down, flip her ear back, because I don't want to deal with her ear right now. And then I'm gonna feel where her jaw is. I'm gonna take a lot of this, but I'm gonna try and keep it squared. So I'm gonna just go along here. And I want to keep her having a nice long face. And then I'm going to round this here at the ear, because her ears are going to be rounded at that point. She'll look back at me. And I just hold right in front of their nose. That's what I'm talking about. If your angle's not right, or the hair doesn't cut. And then for the ears, just comb it down, and then I just flip the ear up just like this, and I just kind of give it a trim here. I don't want it to cut. And then I see where her ear is, and it sits right there. And I like their ears to be just a little bit longer than their face. So where the line is that I just cut for her, I'm actually gonna line my fingers up with that, and I'm gonna make sure her ear's behind that. And this hair that I have here, I'm just gonna trim this off because I don't want her to have super long ears. And I just try and cut it off pretty straight. So that way it sits nicely against her head, but it's a little bit longer than her head. And then like I said, all this I'm leaving because I want this to grow down to here. So it's all kind of one motion there. And then any stray hairs. So I'm just going to comb it down again. Stormy doesn't want to show you guys. And then to get even on both sides, turn this way from me. Ugh, my nose. To get even on both sides. Okay, sorry. This way. Ma'am? What I do is I look from the front here, and I see my angle here, and I cut across pretty straight, and then I'm going to follow my angle up. Nope. I'm going to follow my angle up. So then I have my angle to follow here. So I have kind of a guide. There you go. So then when I turn her this way and I comb everything down, I flip her ear back. Then I know to follow right here. She's not cooperating. And then same thing, I'm gonna round it out a little bit here towards her ear. And any stray hairs, I'm just kind of taking care of. And then I'll look at her from the front and make sure I got a good cut. And then same thing with the ear. Kind of brush this out. There's a little tangle in here, I see it. If this brushes out. If it doesn't, I'll just take my matting comb. I did. Okay. Now this video almost done. So then the hair on the ear, same thing. I'm just gonna clean it up to round it out evenly, because not all that hair necessarily gets cut. I'm trying to make her give you guys a good angle, but this isn't my fault. This is Stormy's fault. So same thing, wherever her headline was, ma'am. Wherever her headline was, so we can kind of see where it. This is why, because she's moving. Her hairline is. This is not the same. Hold on, guys. I don't think I got the same angle quite. I need to take more hair off here. I can tell that it's not even. Her ear is tucked back so I don't get her ear. Okay, now that looks a little more even. So same thing, where that line is, I'm gonna put my fingers and I'm gonna cut underneath that. So then I'm gonna cut across. Kind of have like a straight cut across. So then her ear sits lower than where I trimmed her face. And I like them to have more of a Havanese style face, even though their body's really short. And I'm just going right along here and cutting off anything that I see is kind of sticking out. And I want all this to grow out so it sits to the side of her face. But right here tends to get in her face, so we're gonna give her like a bang. We're gonna give her like a bang here, so I'm gonna go against her face here and just kind of trim this part out here. So she has like a, I think I said bang like 4 times. So she has more of like a little border there to keep that out of her eyes. So she's more like this. And again, I'm letting all this grow out. So she has more of like a Havanese face. Typically when she's finished with the groom, it's like, she looks like a lion. And then I'm pretty happy with that. Again, I had the weird angles and stuff. It's hard showing angles and trying to zoom in and stuff. But for the most part, that's the groom. If you see any areas, you can go back over them. Again, I don't want this video to be too terribly long. But I hope that helped a lot. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I only plan to do more grooming videos, more training videos. We're getting the turf done so I can, you know, put those training videos out as well. This is the finished product. This is more of a Havanese cut that I like to keep on them. Her hair is finally now growing out on the sides, and I stopped trimming it too, so we can get like a nice Havanese look instead of, she gets like this lion mane sometimes because her hair is so thick. And then her body, I'm sure when I'm editing this video I'll be like, oh my gosh, why did I leave that there? But it's just practice. You just keep practicing, you'll find what you like. This is what I like to do. Again, I trimmed in here, trimmed a sanitary cut, her tail's up. Hi Stormy. Hi. Oh, what? You're so mad with me. How are you done? You're so done with me. Stormy's done with my shenanigans, but this was the body type of groom, every single cut, how many times I'm actually going over it, because I know a lot of people have asked about that. So thanks for watching.